The nature of desire. Look closely at the world around you. Strip away the words, the gestures, the promises, and what remains? Desire. It is the hidden pulse that moves every man, every woman, every leader, every beggar. No one acts without a reason, without a hunger to satisfy. Some crave power, some crave recognition, some crave safety, and many crave nothing more than to fill the emptiness inside them with the attention of others. To live among men and believe otherwise is to walk blind among predators. The truth is not pleasant, but it is undeniable. People are not interested in you for who you are, but for what you can provide. They do not see your soul, they see your utility. A friend seeks comfort, a lover seeks validation, a colleague seeks advantage, and even those who claim loyalty are loyal only until it no longer benefits them. This is not cynicism, this is nature, and the man who refuses to see it will forever mistake chains for kindness. Consider how often people approach you with words wrapped in honey. I admire you. I believe in you. You're different from the others. These are not gifts, they are bait. They are invitations for you to open your guard, to give without demanding, to believe you are special, when in reality you are merely useful. The wolf hides its teeth not because it is tame, but because it wishes to draw you close before the strike. If you doubt this, test it. Remove what people want from you. Refuse the service, withhold the resource, deny the comfort. Watch how quickly admiration turns to silence, how love turns to distance, how loyalty turns to betrayal. You will see that the smiles were never for you, but for what they could extract. The moment you are no longer useful, you become invisible. The world does not mourn what it cannot consume. The wise man accepts this truth and turns it to his advantage. He does not seek love for its own sake, he seeks leverage. He does not believe in unconditional loyalty, he believes in conditional exchange. He understands that every relationship, whether personal or political, is a negotiation of needs. And in this negotiation, the man who understands desire controls the outcome. Ask yourself, what is it they want? Do they seek recognition, security, influence, wealth, or simply the comfort of being close to someone they perceive as strong? When you discover their true hunger, you hold the strings that move them. To command a man's actions, you do not need force. You only need to show him the promise of his desire. He will walk willingly into your service, believing all along that it was his own choice. This is why the masses can be led, why leaders are obeyed, why fortunes are built and empires maintained. The secret lies not in resisting desire, but in directing it. The ruler does not impose his will upon the people by strength alone. He whispers to their hunger, feeds it just enough to keep them bound, and withholds just enough to keep them dependent. The same principle applies to every scale of human life, from the throne room to the dinner table. But beware as you learn to see the desires of others, remember that they too see yours. Your hunger exposes you as much as theirs exposes them. The man who cannot master his own desires is easily mastered by another. Ambition without discipline, lust without secrecy, vanity without caution. These are chains waiting to be fastened around your neck. To command others, you must first command yourself. Let no one know the true measure of what you crave, or they will own you as surely as a master owns his hound. Think of history's great manipulators, those who rose not by brute force, but by weaving the threads of desire. They knew how to cloak themselves in mystery, how to give glimpses of satisfaction without ever fully satisfying. They made others chase endlessly, bound not by loyalty, but by the illusion of fulfillment just out of reach. This is the art of rulers, seducers, merchants, and generals alike. It is the same art you must master if you wish to rise above being the tool of another. So, when you encounter a request, do not hear only the words, hear the hunger behind them. When you are praised, ask yourself what reward they seek in exchange for their flattery. When someone swears loyalty, measure how long that loyalty will last when tested by a greater offer. In every interaction, see the invisible trade. And in every trade, ensure that you are not the one paying the higher price. Most people will never understand this. They will believe in selfless friendship, eternal loyalty, pure love, and when these illusions crumble, they will be broken and bitter, blaming the cruelty of the world. But the few who see clearly, who understand that beneath every action lies a hidden desire, will never be broken. They will not be surprised by betrayal, nor wounded by ingratitude, because they expected it all along. And with that expectation, they will be prepared. Not merely to survive in the game of human desire, to control it. If the first truth is that everyone desires something, then the second truth is even sharper. Those desires converge into a game where every man and woman, knowingly or not, fights to secure what they want, even at the cost of another's ruin. It is here that power reveals itself, not as a crown or a title, but as the ability to bend the game in your favor, while others unknowingly play against you. Understand this well: the game of power is not announced. No one will tell you when it begins. It is always being played, silently, in every office, every family, every friendship. To ignore it is to stumble into the arena unarmed. You may think your colleague is merely being kind, your friend merely giving advice, your rival merely speaking his mind. But beneath it all, each one is moving a piece on the board, positioning themselves to win. The one who does not see the moves is already losing. You may believe yourself safe in the loyalty of allies, yet allies have their own ambitions. They smile while sharpening knives in private. They sit at your table while calculating what happens when you are no longer there to occupy the seat. Even the most trusted friend weighs your usefulness against his own advancement. When that balance shifts, do not be surprised when loyalty dissolves. It is not betrayal in their eyes. It is strategy. The danger lies in believing the world operates on goodwill. Many fall because they imagine relationships built on trust are stronger than those built on advantage. But trust is fragile. Advantage is eternal. When you feed another's desire, when you give them reason to gain by standing beside you, they will remain. The moment that gain vanishes, they drift away. This is not wickedness. This is the law of power. To deny it is to live like a lamb waiting for the butcher. Consider how empires rise and fall. Rarely is it the outsider who strikes the fatal blow. More often, it is the insider, the one who sat closest to the throne. Power does not attract loyalty. It attracts ambition. Those who orbit you are not drawn by affection, but by what your gravity provides. As long as you shine, they reflect your light. The instant you dim, they scatter to seek another star. So do not be blinded by their warmth. See it for what it is: dependence, temporary and self-serving. This is why the wise ruler, the clever operator, never exposes all his strength. He understands that once people know the full extent of his resources, they begin plotting how to take them. Better to reveal less, to conceal, to mislead. Let them underestimate you, or let them believe they have more influence than they truly possess. When they act, they will act on false assumptions, and in this miscalculation lies your protection. Yet, the game of power is not merely defensive. To sit quietly and hope not to be targeted is folly. Those who remain passive are devoured first, not out of malice but convenience. When men see a resource unguarded, they seize it. When they see a rival asleep, they strike. The one who does not move is moved upon. Inaction is not safety, it is invitation. Therefore, to survive in the game of power, you must play actively. Study others not by their words, but by the patterns of their actions. What do they pursue relentlessly? Where do they hesitate? Who do they flatter? Who do they ignore? Who do they fear? In these small details lies the map of their true intentions. While they are blinded by their own desires, you must remain clear-eyed, tracing the lines of influence and predicting the next move before it is made. And once you see the move, what then? You must learn to strike not only with force, but with timing. Power is often not about strength, but about when you choose to reveal it. A blow delivered too early exposes you, too late, and the opportunity is lost. But at the right moment, even the smallest action can ripple outward, collapsing alliances and reshaping the board in your favor. The weak stumble because they cannot wait, the wise prevail because they can. Remember, too, that in this game, perception is as valuable as reality. Men are ruled as much by what they believe as by what is true. To appear powerful is often more important than to be powerful. If others believe you have influence, they act as though you do, and in their actions your influence becomes real. If others believe you are weak, even if you are not, they will treat you as weak, and in time you will become so. Control appearances, and you control half the game. But appearances are delicate. Show too much strength and you breed fear that turns into plots. Show too much kindness and you invite exploitation. The balance must be exact, feared enough to deter attack, respected enough to maintain order, unpredictable enough to keep others from calculating too closely. To play the game of power is to walk this tightrope, never leaning so far to one side that you tumble into ruin. Above all, never forget that everyone around you is a player. The servant dreams of being master. The apprentice dreams of surpassing his teacher. The friend dreams of escaping your shadow. Even those who seem humble, even those who swear no ambition, harbor secret desires. Dismiss them at your peril. The smallest rival, underestimated, often becomes the most dangerous, for no one notices their rise until it is too late. In the game of power, nothing is too small to ignore. If you have accepted that everyone around you desires something, and that life itself is a game of power, then the next step is not to complain about it, nor to withdraw in bitterness. The wise do not retreat. They learn to manipulate, for in this theater of human ambition, the one who feeds desire without being consumed by it becomes the hidden master, the puppeteer who directs the play while the others believe themselves free. Understand, manipulation is not cruelty for its own sake. It is the art of aligning others' hunger with your purpose. When a man believes you are giving him what he wants, he will serve you eagerly, even without realizing it. The best chains are those that a man fastens upon himself, believing he is free. This is why you must never satisfy desire fully. To do so ends your leverage. A satisfied man no longer needs you, but a hungry man, half-fed, will return again and again, tethered by his own longing. Think of the ruler who promises his people prosperity. He gives them just enough bread to fill their bellies, just enough spectacle to keep them entertained, but never enough to make them independent. Dependence is the true currency of power. As long as they rely on him, they will defend him, obey him, even die for him, not out of love, but out of fear of losing the small taste of what they believe they cannot secure without him. This principle applies not only to kingdoms, but to every relationship. Give enough to keep them bound, never enough to set them free. Flattery is another tool, but not the empty kind offered carelessly. No, skilled manipulator learns to identify the specific desire within a person and reflect it back like a mirror. The ambitious man must be told he is destined for greatness. The insecure man must be reassured of his worth. The vain woman must be reminded of her beauty, the proud man of his wisdom. Each person carries a weakness disguised as strength. Touch it gently, and they open their hearts. Press it firmly, they obey. But manipulation is not only about words. It is about silence. A withheld answer, a delayed gesture, an unreadable expression. These can provoke more unease, more desire than any speech. People despise uncertainty. In their rush to fill the void of silence, they reveal their motives, their fears, their schemes. Say less than necessary, and you force others to do the work of exposing themselves. The more they speak, the more you learn, and the more they believe you hold wisdom, when in truth you are merely observing. The art lies also in creating illusions. If men believe you have power, they will act as if you do, and in doing so, they give you the power you claimed. If men believe you are generous, they will trust you, even if your generosity was calculated. If men believe you are irreplaceable, they will cling to you, though there may be a dozen others who could serve them just as well. People are moved less by truth than by perception, and perception is yours to shape. There will be times when you must give openly, give with a hidden hook. A favor is never free. Every gift must create obligation. Let them think you are generous, but in their hearts, let them feel indebted. Men hate to feel they owe, yet they cannot escape it. Once you have granted them something they needed, they will repay you, perhaps reluctantly, perhaps secretly. But repay you they must, for the weight of debt presses heavier than iron chains, and in their effort to balance the scale, you gain control of their future actions. Consider also the value of choice, or rather, the illusion of it. Never command directly when you can guide indirectly. When you force a man, he resists. When you offer him two paths, both leading where you wish, he believes he has chosen freely. This illusion of agency soothes the pride of men, even as it secures your will. They will defend the decision more fiercely because they believe it is theirs, never realizing that you set the stage from the start. But manipulation demands patience. You cannot pull every string at once, nor reveal your hand too quickly. The greatest masters of influence know how to delay gratification, how to let desire grow within others until it consumes them, until they beg for what you intended to give all along. If you rush, you expose yourself. If you wait, you tighten the noose slowly so that by the time they realize they are bound, they no longer have the strength to resist. Deception, too, is part of the game, not the crude lies of children. The best deceptions are truths twisted, half revealed, or spoken at the right time. A lie can be discovered and ruin you, but a selective truth, that is unassailable. Let them believe they have uncovered it themselves, and they will defend it as fiercely as if it were their own idea. To plant a thought in another's mind without them knowing it is yours. That is the pinnacle of manipulation. Yet do not mistake manipulation for cruelty. The cruel strike without reason, destroying out a weakness. The manipulator bends others without breaking them, keeping them intact because broken tools are of no use. You must never waste your influence where it earns you nothing. Every act of manipulation must be measured, every word calculated, every gesture weighed against what it brings in return. Otherwise, you squander not only your effort but your power. And always remember, people want to be led, even when they deny it. They long for direction, for someone to tell them what to desire, what to pursue, what to believe. If you step into this role with confidence, if you cloak yourself in certainty, they will follow willingly. They will think they are choosing their path, but it will be the one you laid before them. And as they walk it, they will carry you to your goal, never realizing they were carrying anything at all. You now see that desire rules men, and that all of life is a game of power, sustained by manipulation and illusion. But there is one final truth, more dangerous and more decisive than the rest. If you wait to be acted upon, you are already too late. The game is not won by defense alone. It is won by preemptive play, striking first, setting the terms, forcing others to dance to your rhythm before they have even realized the music has begun. This is the essence of power. Control not of the present moment, but of the moments to come. The one who waits for attack is already cornered, already reacting, already at a disadvantage. But the one who anticipates, who moves before the enemy, dictates the battlefield itself. To strike first is not always to attack with violence. More often, it is to seize the narrative, to frame the situation, to close off paths before others even know they existed. When you decide the options, you decide the outcome. Think of it as chess. The inexperienced player responds to moves. The master shapes the board so that every piece the opponent touches only advances his downfall. When you control the beginning, you already command the end. Most people stumble through life reacting to words, to insults, to opportunities, to losses. They believe themselves free, yet every move they make is merely a response to what others placed before them. To be Machiavellian is to reverse this order, to design the conditions so that others can only react to you. This requires foresight. The ability to look not just at the present exchange, at the chain of consequences that will unfold from it. A fool asks, "What happens if I do this now?" The strategist asks, "What will happen 3 steps after I do this, and how can I ensure those steps serve me?" Most men think only of the first reaction, and so they are surprised when their victories collapse into traps. But you must see further, so that even apparent losses are revealed as seeds of greater gain. Preemptive play also demands that you set the stage before others act. If you know a rival is plotting against you, do not wait for the blade to reach your throat. Move first. Expose him, discredit him, strike his alliances, or better yet, lead him into a situation where his own scheme destroys him. Let him be the one caught reacting, explaining, scrambling, while you stand composed, as though the chaos were always meant to happen. But preemptive play is not always about aggression. Often, it is subtle. If you sense that someone may demand from you in the future, anticipate it, and prepare their answer before they even speak. If you know someone is beginning to resent you, feed them a small gift, a token, something to pacify their discontent before it grows. By the time most people act, it is because their feelings have already reached a peak. You must address their hunger or their anger before it ripens, while it is still tender and easily shaped. This is not merely defense, this is dominance through anticipation. And let us not forget the art of setting traps. Preemptive play means designing circumstances that lead others where you want them, while believing they chose the path themselves. Offer them a tempting option that appears to serve their interest, but secretly strengthens yours. Place before them a stage where every possible move benefits you, even if it appears at first to benefit them. A rival who thinks he has struck a clever blow, only to discover he has stepped exactly where you wished, is already defeated, not by force, but by inevitability. This is why secrecy is critical. If others can predict your intentions, they can prepare. If they cannot, you can always move first. Conceal your goals, disguise your strength, allow them to underestimate or misunderstand you. Strike when they are unready, not with random violence, but with deliberate timing. The enemy, who never sees the attack coming, cannot defend against it, no matter how powerful he may be. Even the lion can be brought down if caught asleep. But the lion who stalks while the others dream rules the savannah without contest. Consider also how fear itself can be used as a preemptive weapon. If you establish early that you are not to be trifled with, that opposition to you carries consequences. You prevent many challenges before they begin. Men think carefully before opposing someone whose past actions reveal decisiveness, precision, and ruthlessness. Better to plant this reputation early so that others calculate risk and choose submission long before they ever raise a hand against you. But timing, again, is everything. To strike too soon is to reveal your hand and waste your advantage. To strike too late is to be cornered. The mastery lies in waiting just long enough for your opponent to commit, but not long enough for him to succeed. Let him believe his plan is working, let him invest his effort, let him expose his resources, and then, at the crucial moment, move. In one stroke, you erase his progress and prove that his efforts were in vain. This not only defeats him but demoralizes him, ensuring he will think twice before daring to move again. And remember, preemptive play is not only against enemies. It is just as effective with allies, lovers, followers, even friends. Guide their expectations before they can demand from you. Offer them small satisfactions before they grow restless. Suggest paths before they invent their own. If you shape their choices from the beginning, you need never resist them later. They will thank you for the very direction that enslaves them, believing it was their own idea all along. The one who masters preemptive play does not live in reaction. He lives in design. He does not wait for storms to strike. He builds walls before the clouds appear. He does not argue against accusations. He prevents the whispers from taking root. He does not chase after opportunity. He creates the conditions where opportunity must come to him. In this way, the game is no longer a battle of equals. It becomes a stage where only one hand writes the script and all others perform their roles, without knowing who cast them.